No problem. Hello, everyone. So I recognise a few of you from some of the roadshows that the Wheel have kindly put on before, which I found very informative, and I hope you did as well. So just to introduce myself, yes, I'm Aideen Reilly. So I'm the EU Programmes Manager in the Department of the Environment, Climate and Communications. So in that role, I'm also the NCP for the LIFE programme, which I'll be talking about today, but also the Innovation Fund. And I also sit on the the management board for some of the Peace Plus sub-programmes, including the geothermal, which was launched recently, and the air quality, which will be launched later this year. Also looking for partners in that, just in case anyone may be interested. Get my plug in now. But as I said, here today to talk about the EU LIFE programme. So the LIFE programme, so we're running on the 21 to 27 basis. It's a key contributor to the European Green Deal. So it helps contribute to just transition to a more sustainable, circular and energy efficient economy. It helps to protect, restore and improve the quality of the environment, which includes air, water and soil, and of course health. We're hoping to halt and reverse biodiversity life. So the 2023 calls, they have already launched, and they are all available currently on the funding and tendering opportunities portal. So they went up mid-April for the three original sub-programmes. For this LIFE programme initiation, we also have the new Clean Energy Transition, and that has recently been published. The EU organised some virtual information sessions for all the sub-programmes. These were also recorded, and you can find these on YouTube. So certainly if you are planning on applying, they do a great run through of the online application process and what to put where. So I'd really advise that, and they're easily searchable, or if you need any links, you can certainly contact me. So just a bit more about the LIFE programme. So it's split into two. We've got environment and climate, and under those we have 4 sub-programmes. So we've nature and biodiversity, circular economy and quality of life under environment. Under climate, we have climate change, mitigation, adaptation, and also the new clean energy transition. The clean energy transition was previously in Horizon. It's now found that it's home in the LIFE programme, and that's a particularly exciting funding opportunity because it comes with a higher threshold. I'll go through that later. Also new this year, and I think it's a great opportunity for certain or possible Irish programmes. It's the technical assistant replication. So the TAR programme, so that's available under nature and biodiversity and the circular economy and quality of life. And what happens there is that you can take a previous programme that got funded from a different EU stream, such as say Horizon, and you will get money then to replicate that in your area. So as I was saying before, you know, Ireland's in a sort of unique position that we have EU programmes that are unique, such as Peace Plus. So, and I know there's been great cross-border sort of programmes available on the likes of water quality and air quality. So if you're interested in any of that, that's a great opportunity to sort of, it takes a lot of the work off. You've already got these programs that were successful, and you simply replicate them in your own area. So that's new this year as well. So just to go a bit further into these sub-programs, so nature and biodiversity, so it supports the objective set out in the EU and the Habitats Directive, helps contribute to the targets of the EU biodiversity strategy for 2030. There's 2 intervention areas, so the space for nature and safeguarding our species, and it's nature governance, also addressing EU nature biodiversity legislation compliance. Circular economy and quality of life, it deals with circular economy and waste, air, water, soil and chemicals, the new Bauhaus, and environmental governance. Under climate change, mitigation, adaptation, it's self-explanatory, really: climate change mitigation, adaptation, and also governance and information. And then the new clean energy transition. So that's helping to build a national, regional, and local policy framework that supports clean energy transition in response to the situation in Ukraine. It's hoping to accelerate technology rollout, digitalization, and new services and business models. And supports the development of local and regional investment projects for the clean energy. So who can apply? LIFE is open to everyone, whether that's from NGOs, government departments, local councils. We do have examples, and you'll see those later, of where local community groups came together and with a local council in Mayo for a very successful LIFE project. So whilst you can apply by yourself, I would certainly recommend going in as a consortium. You can receive extra points, and it just helps with the reporting and the structure, and gives you a better opportunity to be successful in your application. And the all important, what everyone wants to know: how much do you get? So for the standard action projects, these were formerly known as the traditional projects, you can get up to 60% co-funding. Some projects in the nature and biodiversity can receive up to 75 in specific cases. That's usually when they target a specific area or a specific species for protection. Under the strategic integrated projects and the strategic nature projects and the technical assistant projects, that would also include that new replication project I was talking about earlier. It's also 60% funding. And then for the clean energy transition, there's up to 95% of co-funding available. Just a bit more on that clean energy transition program. So the CET topics concern LIFE other action grants, coordination and support actions. The topics build on previous calls that were part of the Intelligent Energy Europe program, and that was under Horizon 2020. Some topics, but not all, may require that proposals be submitted by at least 3 applications from 3 different eligible countries. But the Irish successful project in this didn't have to go under that, and they basically used 3 Irish initiative, 3 Irish applications, and were successful. So it all depends on that was a community heating project, so it all depends on exactly the project, but we're there to answer any questions you may have on that. So some examples of our LIFE project. So under the nature and biodiversity, the LIFE Cara project, that's the one I was explaining earlier, was a local group, and then worked with Mayo County Council, and they're now up and running. They actually launched there during the summer. LIFE on Maha also launched in the summer there as well. Under environment, we've LIFE Emerald, which is an air quality project. And also another example is the Dublin Urban Rivers LIFE project. A lot of people, and a lot of our successful projects tend to be from the rest of Ireland, but that's just where MPWS are very successful, the National Parks and Wildlife Service, and that's where they hold a lot of land. But you know, it doesn't stop city projects, and Dublin Urban Rivers is a great example. So their project's actually coming to an end. And then the climate, we have LIFE Farm for More. They're due to end next year. So it's about agricultural management, and in that one, so that's also very successful. Just a few contact points. So I myself look after the 3 sub-programs, and then Philip Cheesty from Enterprise Ireland looks after the clean energy transition, because he was looking after it before under its Horizon LIFE. And that's all. And of course, if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Aideen. Thanks a lot for this. And I would encourage the group to ask questions, put them in the chat, or you also have the possibility to ask them directly. I would have first one, if I may, because for us, it's always the most important or interesting to see what are kind of like the biggest barriers for civil society organizations to actually join one of those consortium. Or would you say it's difficult to join or to build a LIFE project and implement it? Is it like this co-funding rate that could be a barrier for some smaller organization? Oh yeah, match funding. Yeah.
Certainly the co-funding rate, and that's why I would encourage people to reach out to their local county councils. You know, under the new climate action plans that local county councils are now responsible for, they're going to have to do a number of these things and put in their own money into them. So why not join up and at least get some funding from the EU? The biggest barrier though, Christine, I would say, is the initial funding. So getting the project up and running. You know, you may not be successful, and many people aren't successful on their first go. This, of course, all costs money though. And if you are a small organization, that can be a barrier. But as I said, get into a consortium and look for funding. And I would really recommend going after county councils, because they do now have more responsibilities in this area that before was sort of central government, but they now have to do their own climate action plans and reach their own targets. So if they're going to have to be putting this money in there anyway, why not get a slice of the pie?
I see. They have a motivation in doing so. Okay, that's really interesting. That's a really good recommendation. And if you talk about co-funding, so let's say you only get like 60%. What could be like? How could you match it with what? Is it like resources, staff, time, or what would you need to bring in yourself? Does it need to be money?
No. So we have to say in life, we fund brains, not bricks. So life will cover your staffing costs and stuff, but infrastructure it will not cover.
Okay.
So that is certainly a barrier. But as I said, if you can, or if you can partner up with as I said, NPWS, the National Parks and Wildlife Service, have a number of projects and are very successful, but they want to work with local communities and local community groups because it makes the projects more successful. So, you know, they have a pot of money that they can use for the likes of infrastructure, and then you can get your staffing costs covered through the life funding.
Okay, that's really interesting. And if someone would like to join a consortium but really has no partners at all, could they contact you and you would match them?
I can help match. I'm constantly talking to my colleagues in PWS, because they would probably put in, for every call they may put in between 2 to 5 projects. So depending on the area and and what their projects are targeting, but more than likely they do require sort of local community buy-in, and any project I've seen them do has involved that. So whether it's local farmers, local community groups, you know.
Okay, really interesting. Thanks a lot. So these were my questions that I had. Thanks a lot for this great presentation also. Is there anyone else today here who would like to ask a question directly to Aideen? Yes,
yes,
hi.
I would. I'm very interested to see that new section on energy, and I wonder, could you say a little bit more about it, because I saw that they're talking about facilitating community ownership of renewable energy projects and that sort of thing. And what do you envisage that those sort of projects might include?
Yeah, Aideen, so it's not my sub-program, but I will try and answer the best I can. But I can certainly pass on your details to Philip after this. But just using the one example, so it was sort of the islands, and they joined up with Donegal County Council. So it was a sort of geothermal project, local community heating.
Oh yes, I read about that.
Yeah. So those are the sort of things they're targeting. Overall, it is sort of to less for reliance on Russian sort of gas and energy. So the big headlines there would be really joining up with other EU countries, which could be beneficial for Ireland. You know, the technology and the thought process behind these projects could be there, but they could certainly be looking for partners because they need partners from other EU countries. So where
Alright.
they may just want to implement the project. So that could be benefit sort of community groups, and we could help with the matching on that. But yeah, I'm happy certainly to pass on any details to Philip.
Yeah.
It's not my sort of area of expertise, and I only have a high level understanding, so apologies for that.
No,
But
that's fine.
yeah, but I am getting into my mailbox, you know, people from Belgium, Germany, Finland looking for partners.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be useful. All right. Yes, thank you.
No problem.
Perfect. Great. Thanks for the question. Anyone else would like to use the opportunity and ask a question to Aideen directly? Otherwise, she's, of course, as she just said, also available via email, and we will share her contact later on. We will also share the presentation and the recording, so you will always it's always possible for you to reach out to her and ask about your project or your organization and how that could fit in what we just heard. Okay, if there's no one, then I would move on. Thank you so much, Aideen.
No problem.
Thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot for joining us today.